I need to tell you something before we get married, Rachel said, her wine glass trembling slightly in her hand. I still love my ex, and I probably always will. The rehearsal dinner was in 3 weeks. Our wedding invitations had been mailed 2 months ago. 200 guests. A venue booked 18 months in advance. Her parents had already paid the deposit on the country club reception. I was 30 years old, sitting across from my fiancée of 2 years in our shared apartment, and she'd just detonated our entire future with 13 words. What did you just say? She set down the glass, carefully, like she was afraid it might shatter. I thought I should be honest with you. We're about to make vows, and I don't want to start our marriage with lies between us. The apartment suddenly felt too small. We'd moved in together a year ago, merged our furniture, our routines, our lives. Her textbooks were scattered across the coffee table. She was finishing her master's in architecture. My guitar was propped against the wall where I'd left it that morning. Normal. Everything had been so goddamn normal when I'd left for work. Your ex? I repeated slowly. David? Yes. David. The guy she dated for 4 years in college. The one she'd mentioned maybe twice in our entire relationship. Always in passing. Always with the kind of casual dismissiveness that suggested he was completely irrelevant to her present. You still love him? I do. Her voice was steady now, like she'd rehearsed this. Maybe she had. But I love you too. That's what I need you to understand. I love you, and I want to marry you. I'm choosing you. But I can't pretend that what I felt for him just disappeared. I stood up, sat back down. My brain was moving too slowly, trying to process information that didn't make sense. When did you realize this? I've always known. You've always known. The words tasted bitter. So for 2 years. It doesn't change anything between us, she interrupted. People can love more than one person. It's just a fact. I love you. I'm going to marry you. David is in my past. But yes, part of me will always love him. And I thought you deserved to know that before we stood in front of everyone and promised forever. The worst part was how reasonable she sounded. Like this was a mature, adult conversation about complicated feelings. Like she was doing me a favor. Are you in contact with him? A pause. Too long. Sometimes. He texts me occasionally. Birthday wishes, that kind of thing. Nothing inappropriate. Does he know we're getting married? Another pause. Yes. And what does he think about that? She looked away. He said he hopes I'm happy. I laughed. Couldn't help it. The sound came out harsh and sharp in the quiet apartment. That's generous of him. Does he still love you too? I don't know. We don't talk about that. But you talk. Not often. Maybe once every few months. Once every few months. For our entire relationship, she'd been in contact with someone she was in love with, and I'd had no idea. I tried to remember if I'd ever noticed her texting someone and being secretive about it. Couldn't recall anything specific. She'd been so normal. We'd been so normal. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. 3 weeks before the wedding. Why not 3 months ago? 3 years ago? Why wait until everything's locked in? Because I wasn't sure I needed to tell you at all, she admitted. I thought maybe it was just something I could carry privately. But then last week, when we were doing the final cake tasting, and you were so excited about everything, I realized I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand there and promise you everything when I was holding this back. How noble. I couldn't keep the edge out of my voice. Don't be like that. I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to do the right thing. The right thing would have been telling me you were still in love with someone else before I proposed. Before we signed a lease together. Before we sent out 200 fucking invitations. She flinched. I know you're angry. Do you love him more than me? It's not a competition. Answer the question. I love you differently than I loved him. You're stable. You're kind. You're going to be an amazing husband and father. With David, it was intense, passionate, but also volatile. We weren't good for each other, ultimately. That's why we broke up. Who broke up with who? Does it matter? Yes. She sighed. He ended it. He said we were too young to be so serious. He wanted to travel, experience life. I was devastated. When was this? 6 years ago. And you've been in love with him for 6 years. I've been carrying feelings for him for 6 years, she corrected. There's a difference. There wasn't. Not to me. I stood up again, this time with purpose. Walked to the window. Our apartment was on the 4th floor, overlooking a quiet street lined with oak trees. We'd chosen this place together. Argued good-naturedly about whether the extra bedroom should be an office or a guest room. Compromised by making it both. What do you want me to say? I asked, not turning around. I want you to understand that this doesn't change how I feel about you. I want to marry you. I want to build a life with you. I'm just being honest about the fact that David will always occupy some space in my heart. And you think I should be okay with that? I think you should appreciate that I'm being truthful instead of hiding it. I turned around. She was watching me with those wide brown eyes that I'd fallen in love with at a mutual friend's barbecue 2.5 years ago. She'd been laughing at something, head thrown back, completely unself-conscious. I'd thought she was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. Are you sleeping with him? No. God, no. I would never cheat on you. But you want to. No, I don't. I told you, I'm choosing you. You're settling for me. That's not fair, isn't it? You love him. You've always loved him. He's the one who got away. And I'm the safe choice. The stable guy who'll give you a comfortable life while you pine after someone else. You're twisting my words. Am I? I grabbed my jacket from the back of the chair. I need to go. Where? Out. I need to think. Can we talk about this more when you get back? I looked at her. Really looked at her. Tried to imagine standing at an altar in 3 weeks, watching her walk toward me, knowing that part of her wished it was someone else waiting for her. Sure, I said and left. I drove to my best friend Chris's apartment. He took one look at my face and handed me a beer without asking questions. His girlfriend Natalie was there too, curled up on the couch with her laptop. What happened? Chris asked. I told them. Everything. Rachel's confession, the conversation, the fact that our wedding was in 21 days and I had no idea what to do. Natalie closed her laptop. She's still in contact with him? Occasionally. Texts, she said. Did you see the texts? No. Asked to see them, Natalie said immediately. If it's really just innocent birthday wishes, she shouldn't have a problem showing you. Chris was shaking his head. I don't know, man. Even if the texts are innocent, the fact that she's still in love with him, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Maybe she's just being honest, I said, playing devil's advocate with myself. Maybe it's normal to still have feelings for an ex, and she's just mature enough to admit it. It's one thing to acknowledge that you cared about someone in your past, Natalie said carefully. It's another thing to say you're still in love with them and always will be. That's not closure. That's an open wound. We talked for another hour. They offered to let me stay over, but I needed to go home. Face this. Figure out what I was going to do. Rachel was still awake when I got back. She'd changed into pajamas and was sitting on the couch with her laptop, probably working on her thesis. Hey, she said softly. Are you okay? Can I see your phone? She blinked. What? Your texts with David. I want to see them. You don't trust me? I want to see them. She hesitated, then handed over her phone. The passcode is. I know the passcode. We'd exchanged passcodes a year ago. Another sign of trust, of building a life together. I opened her messages and searched for David's name. The conversation thread went back years. I scrolled to the most recent exchanges. 3 weeks ago, the day after we'd confirmed our final headcount with the caterer. David, hey, heard through the grapevine you're getting married soon. Congratulations. Rachel, thank you. Yeah, 3 weeks from Saturday. David, that's great. Really happy for you. Rachel, are you? Happy for me. David, of course. Why wouldn't I be? Rachel, I don't know. I guess I thought you might have feelings about it. David, what kind of feelings should I have? Rachel, never mind. That was stupid. David, for what it's worth, I think about you sometimes. Wonder what would have happened if I hadn't been such an idiot back then. Rachel, David. David, I know. You're getting married. I shouldn't say stuff like that. But I wanted you to know. Before you become someone else's wife. I wanted you to know that breaking up with you was the biggest mistake I ever made. Rachel, you can't say things like that to me right now. David, I'm sorry. You're right. Forget I said anything. I hope he makes you happy. I really do. Rachel, I need to go. That was 3 weeks ago. She'd sat on this conversation for 3 weeks before telling me anything. And this was supposed to be innocent birthday wishes? I kept scrolling. Found messages from 2 months before that. For months before that. A pattern emerged. David would reach out every few weeks with something casual. She'd respond. They'd chat about work, life, mutual friends. Surface level stuff. But the undercurrent was always there. About 6 months ago, David saw a place today that reminded me of that coffee shop we used to study at. Made me nostalgic. Rachel, the one on 4th Street? David, that's the one. Remember how we'd stay there until they kicked us out? Rachel, I remember. We thought we were so mature, drinking our lattes and talking about changing the world. David, we were kids. Stupid, naive kids. Rachel, we weren't that stupid. David, no, I guess not. Just stupid enough to let something good slip away. Rachel, David, sorry. I'll stop. But he never really stopped. and she never really shut it down. Well, Rachel's voice pulled me back to the present. Is it what you expected? He told you breaking up with you was the biggest mistake he ever made. I didn't encourage that. You didn't shut it down either. You kept talking to him. You've been having these emotionally intimate conversations with someone who's openly saying he regrets losing you, and you thought that was appropriate? We're friends. We have history. I can't just erase him from my life. Yes, you can. That's exactly what you can do. That's what people in committed relationships do when an ex won't respect boundaries. He respects boundaries. He's never. He told you marrying me would be a mistake. I was shouting now. Couldn't help it. He's been systematically trying to undermine our relationship for months, and you've been letting him. That's not fair. You're reading too much into. Show me one conversation where you mention me. One message where you talk about being happy in our relationship. One time where you shut him down when he got inappropriate. She was quiet. You can't, can you? Because you've been living in this fantasy where you get to keep him on the hook while building a life with me. You get to have your stable future and your romantic what-if. And the only reason you're telling me now is because he pushed you to. His message 3 weeks ago, that's what triggered this. Not your conscience. Him. That's not true. Then why now? Why 3 weeks before our wedding? She started crying. Because I'm scared. Because he's right, okay? What if marrying you is a mistake? What if I'm settling? What if I spend the rest of my life wondering what could have been with David? There it was. The truth, finally. I set her phone down on the coffee table. Carefully. Like it might explode. Thank you for being honest, I said quietly. What are we going to do? I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to bed. I have work tomorrow. I left her crying on the couch and went to our bedroom. Closed the door. Sat on the edge of the bed we'd bought together 6 months ago after agonizing over firmness levels and thread counts. I didn't sleep. Just lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, while my brain ran through every moment of our relationship, looking for signs I'd missed, warning flags I'd ignored. There had been a few, I realized. Times when she'd been distant, distracted. I'd chalked it up to stress from school, from work. Never imagined she was thinking about someone else. By morning, I knew what I had to do. Rachel was already up when I came out of the bedroom. She'd made coffee, was sitting at the kitchen table with red-rimmed eyes. Did you sleep? She asked. No, me neither. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have. I need you to do something for me. I interrupted. I need you to really think about what you want. Not what you think you should want. Not what's safe or practical or makes sense on paper. What you actually want. I want you. I want us. No, you want the idea of us. You want the wedding and the house and the kids and the stability. But you're in love with him. You said it yourself last night. You're scared you're settling. I didn't mean. Take 3 days. Go stay with your sister or a friend, wherever. Don't contact me. Don't contact David. Just think. Really think. And then come back and tell me the truth. I don't need 3 days. I know. Yes, you do. Because I'm not doing this. I'm not marrying someone who's going to spend our entire marriage wondering about someone else. I deserve better than that. And honestly, so do you. You deserve to be with someone who's your first choice, not your safe choice. She started crying again. You are my first choice. Then prove it. Take the time. Figure it out. If you come back and you can look me in the eye and tell me you're all in, that you're cutting David out completely and committing to us, then we'll figure out how to move forward. But I need you to be sure. She left that afternoon, packed a bag, and went to stay with her sister across town. The apartment felt empty without her, but also clearer somehow. Like I could finally think. I didn't tell anyone what was happening. Not yet. Just went to work, came home, went through the motions. Waited. On the second day, Chris texted me asking if I wanted to grab dinner. I declined. Wasn't ready to talk about it yet. On the third day, Rachel came home. She looked terrible, like she hadn't slept any better than I had. I need to see him, she said. Before I can decide. I need to see David one more time. And that's when I knew it was over. Okay, I said. She blinked. Okay. Yeah, go see him. Get your closure or your reunion or whatever it is you need. But when you do, don't come back here. What? I'm done, Rachel. The fact that you need to see him to decide about us tells me everything I need to know. You shouldn't need to see your ex to be sure about marrying me. The answer should be obvious. You're being unreasonable. No, I'm being realistic. Go. Be with him. See if he's everything you remember. See if the fantasy lives up to reality. But I'm not waiting around while you figure out if I'm good enough. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. And I'm not interested in being anyone's second choice. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she picked up her bag and left. That was 2 weeks ago. I spent that entire night sitting in the dark, making calls. First to the venue. They had a cancellation policy, but I'd lose the deposit. Fine. Then to the caterer, the florist, the DJ, the photographer. One by one, I dismantled our wedding. Some people were confused. Most were professionally sympathetic and didn't ask questions. I kept the explanations vague. The wedding's been called off. I apologize for the late notice. The hardest call was to my mom. Honey, is everything okay? The wedding's off, Mom. Silence. Then, what happened? Rachel's in love with someone else. Has been the whole time, apparently. Oh, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Yeah, me too. Does her family know? Not yet. I'm letting her handle that. That's very generous of you. It's not generosity. I just don't want to deal with it. My mom flew in the next day. Helped me pack up Rachel's things, the stuff she'd left behind when she went to her sister's. We boxed it all up, stacked it neatly in the second bedroom. You're doing the right thing, Mom said. I know it doesn't feel like it now, but you are. I proposed to her. I was going to spend my life with her. You were going to spend your life with someone who didn't love you the way you deserve to be loved. That's not the same thing. I found Rachel's old journal while we were packing. It was tucked in her nightstand drawer. I almost didn't open it. Felt like a violation of privacy. But then I figured she'd violated my trust pretty thoroughly, so what the hell? The entries went back years. Most of it was mundane, school stress, work frustrations, friend drama. But scattered throughout were references to David. Sometimes I dream about him. Wonder if he thinks about me too. Saw a guy today who looked like David from behind. My heart actually skipped. How pathetic am I? Met someone new today. He seems nice. Maybe this will finally help me move on. That last entry was from 3 years ago, right around when we met. I closed the journal and put it in the box with her other things. Rachel finally texted me on day 5. We need to talk. No, we don't. Please. I owe you an explanation. You don't owe me anything. I've already canceled everything. Your stuff is packed. You can pick it up whenever. You canceled the wedding? Yes. Without talking to me? You were busy figuring out if you loved your ex more than me. Seemed like the prudent thing to do. That's not fair. I told you I needed closure. And I told you I wasn't waiting around. Did you see him? A long pause. Then yes. And it's complicated. I laughed out loud. Alone in our apartment, my apartment now, actually laughed. It's really not. Either you're with him or you're not. Either you want me or you don't. I want to try again. With us. I made a mistake. The mistake was telling me the truth. You should have just married me and kept lying. Would have been easier for everyone. Don't be cruel. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. Like you were honest with me about being in love with someone else. How did that work out for you, by the way? Is David everything you remembered? She stopped responding. I didn't care. Her sister showed up the next day to collect her things. Didn't even look at me, just loaded boxes into her car with tight-lipped efficiency. She's a mess, her sister said on the last trip. You should know that. That's not my problem anymore. She really does love you. Not enough. David turned her down. Said he'd made his choice years ago and wasn't interested in revisiting it. She's devastated. Again, not my problem. So what, you're just done? Just like that. Just like that. She shook her head. You're both idiots. Then she left. The texts from Rachel continued for a few days. Apologizing. Explaining. Begging. I didn't respond to most of them. Eventually, they stopped. The questions from other people started about a week before what would have been our wedding day. Friends asking if I was excited. Family asking about the bachelor party. I'd answer simply, the wedding's off. Most people were too polite to ask why. A few pushed for details. I kept it vague. We weren't right for each other. Rachel's mom called me once. Crying. Asking what happened. Saying I was making a terrible mistake. I hung up on her. My mom stayed with me through what would have been the wedding weekend. We ordered pizza, watched movies, didn't talk about it. On Sunday, what would have been my wedding day, I woke up, went for a run, came home and showered. Went about my day like it was any other day. You're handling this better than I expected, Mom said. I'm not handling it at all. I'm just existing. That's still handling it. Chris and Natalie took me out the next week. Insisted on it. We went to a bar, had too many drinks, and Natalie got increasingly indignant on my behalf. She's an idiot, Natalie declared, slightly slurred. You're a catch. She threw away someone real for a fantasy. The fantasy rejected her, Chris added. Don't forget that part. She didn't even choose you until her first choice said no. Guys. No. He's right, Natalie interrupted. She would have left you if David had wanted her. You know that, right? You dodged a bullet. I didn't know that. Didn't make it hurt less. I've been in the apartment alone for 3 weeks now. Started looking at new places. Too many memories here. Too many ghosts. Rachel's name is still on the lease, but she hasn't paid her half of rent. I don't care enough to chase her for it. I saw her once, accidentally. At the grocery store. She looked thin, tired. Saw me and froze. I nodded at her, basic politeness, and kept walking. Heard her say my name behind me, but I didn't stop. People ask me sometimes if I regret it. Canceling everything so quickly. Not fighting for the relationship. Not trying to work through it. I don't. Because here's what I realized. Rachel didn't just love her ex. She'd built an entire fantasy around him. The relationship that could have been. The life they might have had. And I was never going to compete with that. No one could. She didn't want me. She wanted her memory of David. And when that memory didn't match reality, she wanted to come back to safe, stable me. The backup plan. I deserved to be someone's first choice. Their only choice. Not the guy they settled for when their fantasy fell apart. So yeah, I canceled our wedding the night she confessed. Quietly, methodically, while she was off getting closure. Let her explain to everyone why I disappeared. Why the wedding wasn't happening. Why she was suddenly single 3 weeks before she was supposed to become my wife. I haven't heard what she told people. Don't really care. My friends know the truth. My family knows. That's enough. I'm 30 years old. Single. Living in an apartment I'm about to move out of. Starting over in a lot of ways. But I'm not spending my life wondering if my wife wishes I was someone else. I'm not building a marriage on the foundation of being someone's second choice. And honestly, that feels like the right decision. Even if it hurts like hell.